You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney theme parks podcast, and this is show number 360 for Sunday, the 25th of April, 2021.
Where dreams begin.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum, Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Alas, no Jane this week, but I do have with me a very, very dear friend of mine who I know loves three things in life. He loves pancakes, he loves Disney, and he loves music. Welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls, Tom Ameen.
Hey, Michelle. Thank you for having me on. And what an intro. I love pancakes, especially the time we went and had pancakes before when I met you down at Disneyland. It was quite a wonderful morning.
Do you actually know, my friend, it is, 2013 that we met up at Disneyland at the, what's that pancake, that restaurant place chainy thing? I've forgotten the name of it. There's chains of them all over there.
I think we went to IHOP. I think that's where we went.
We went to IHOP. We had a mountain of pancakes. Our mutual friend Paul Barry was there. And it was the first time we met, and we had a serious pancake off. And I think we must have devoured about 1.5 litres of maple syrup.
Oh, of course. You can't have pancakes without smothering them in maple syrup. It was delicious. It was a great way for us to meet each other and enjoy some food at the same time.
And then a few years later, I was blessed again to meet you, and I actually introduced you to something you'd never done before.
That's right, Michelle. We went to Earl of Sandwich, which I had never been to.
It's like the British girl introducing the American guy to the British sandwich company that actually is American. It's just amazing.
It was so much fun. I loved it. And I had the turkey sandwich, that most popular turkey. Oh, it was so delicious. It was so good. I love that place. So you've turned me on to Earl of Sandwich. So every time I go to Disneyland, or the last time in 2020, right before the pandemic hit, I met my parents down at Walt Disney World in Orlando. And then I took them there because they had never been to Earl of Sandwich. So I'm passing on the legacy now.
Awesome. And I believe we met up with our good friend Joseph Compton as well. He joined us, and we got up to a bit of mischief in the world of Disney, if I recall rightly.
That's right. I remember that. But I can't. It was 2000. What year was that? 2015?
Oh, that was probably 15. And we tried on all sorts of hats and caused chaos, as you do.
Of course. It was wonderful.
Oh, and I am so looking forward to the time that we can meet up again, hopefully get into the theme park this time, because we've never actually achieved that, and have some fun in the parks and cause more mayhem and chaos along the way.
That would be amazing. And also, too, you know so much about the food in both parks, and I really don't. So I would love for you to take me on a culinary guide around Disneyland and just show me, like, where are the good places to eat, because I don't have that much knowledge with that.
Well, do you know what you're going to need? The most important thing for a foodie tour of a Disneyland park.
A lot of money?
Well, yeah. Anything to do with Disney needs money. I mean, need stretchy pants, my friend. Stretchy pants.
Of course. I'll have to make sure I have some of those, and I'll have to order them if I don't have them, just for our trip. That would be perfect.
Absolutely. We can have Mickey waffles from Carnation Cafe, and then we can walk a little bit further up and have some beignets and a mint julep. We can wander a bit more and go to Jolly Holiday and get a Matterhorn macaron. Oh, the list is endless, mate.
Oh my gosh. Now, I do know the beignets because I would go with friends to downtown Disney. We would sometimes go there just for dinner. So I know that French restaurant, and there's a French, there's a beignet stand at downtown Disney as well, in Disneyland. There's like a stand you could just go up and order them, and they come in that bag. And they pour the sugar on, and then you just shake the bag up. So the sugar, it's the best thing ever. I mean, the beignets are amazing. So good.
Another top tip, make sure the stretchy pants aren't black, because once you get those icing sugar droplets all over those black stretchy pants, you're never getting rid of it.
No, you got to make sure you get get light colored pants or something where that won't show up.
Well, we're not here to talk about Michelle's magical food tour of Disneyland. We're here to speak about magical meditations. So, would you like to sort of start at the very beginning of how you came about to decide to do this album?
Well, here's what happened. I've been like going on Spotify and listening to some people. I've been just researching different pianists and what they do and their styles and all that kind of good stuff. And a lot of pianists were doing these relaxation albums or easy listening albums, which I have done a lot in the past. I mean, most of my music, I guess, really would be considered easy listening. But I've never done a meditative album where that was the specific purpose, was to put people into a better mood, to help them meditate or relax or unwind. And it's become very popular, I think, in the past year because of the pandemic. And a lot of people are staying at home, and the stress of what's going on has affected all of us. I thought this might be a good time to do an album like this, but I thought, how fun would it be to do it of Disney music that you will recognize from your childhood or from going to the parks. And I thought that would be a really neat idea to do a relaxation album, but have some of my favorite Disney music on there. And I thought, I wonder if people would like that. And I think they will. And I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I love the concept, but that's how it came about. Just me listening on Spotify and thinking, wow, this would be kind of cool if it was set to Disney music. So that's how I came up with that idea.
And I must admit, a while back we had a bit of a conversation, and I even broached some of our listeners and said to them, look, Tom's thinking about doing this really different album where he's going to play a bit around with some of his favourite classics from the parks. What would you like to hear? And we came up with some that have actually made it to the album, so that's making me very excited.
Yes, your listeners had some wonderful ideas, and a few of those songs, I think 3 or 4 of them made it onto the album. So I was very pleased with how they turned out. I played through a bunch of different songs, and I even played through most of the songs that your listeners had suggested, but I had a really specific sound in mind, and some of the songs, to me, I mean, they're all great music, but didn't sound as good in this format as the ones that I chose. So that's the only reason why some of them didn't make it, is I thought, well, I might save that for a different album or a different themed album. But I wanted these songs to be really specific to this kind of relaxation method that I wanted to go after. So that's what made me decide on the ones that I chose. But your listeners had awesome ideas. Really, really good ideas.
They are the best podcast listeners in the world, and to be honest, it's not like the listeners anymore, they're friends, because there's so many people who start off being a listener and they just morph into friendship because they're just such wonderful people.
Yeah, you guys meet some of the neatest people. I mean, Michelle, part of it is you as well, because you're just the real deal. And I think when people meet you, it's just your warmth, your personality, and your friendship, and your love of Disney just comes through. And I think people are just attracted to that.
Oh,
so
bless you. Bless you. I'll give you the money later.
Of course.
So, lovely. I just want to talk about the elephant in the room here, because when you think of relaxation and meditation, there is a song that people who go to Disney love to hate and hate to love it. And it's been included. And I must admit, you very kindly sent me across a couple of tracks to listen to. And I was absolutely stunned when I played it, because the arrangement of it is in a very different way. It's familiar, but not the same. And I think you've managed, and Sherman Brothers, we love you, we love you, we love you. But the way you've played around with it and added layers to it, and the introduction goes in so soft, It's a Small World is absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you, Michelle. That's actually one of my favorite ones, how it turned out, because that was the challenge. I'm like, how do I want to do this song on the album, because it would be like, what I think most people's reaction would be, why is this on this album? It's a Small World. It's the most hated or loved song in the world. It depends on who you talk to, right? But I'm like, there has to be a way to do this, because it is a really pretty song when you slow it down. And I thought the arrangement I came up with was pretty unique. because I wanted to start it really soft. The whole album is soft, of course, but like to start with different chords. And then if you notice in the middle of the instrumental, in the middle, I just patched part of the melodies together here and there to create a really interesting instrument, like a bridge part. And I just thought it turned out really well. But I have to say, like, I've fallen in love with that song again after hearing it like this. I'm like, gosh, this is really pretty. So I'm very pleased with how that turned out. I really hope people like it because I think they're going to be surprised when they hear it.
Absolutely. Well, let's share a little excerpt of it now, exclusively here for you guys. A little bit of It's a Small World. Right, big question here for you now, Tom. Do you watch Big Bang Theory?
Of course, yes. I'm a Big Bang Theory fan.
Awesome. So you're going to get this bit. I have literally watched Big Bang Theory through 3 times during lockdown. I'm on the last series again now, and I'm like thinking, do I start it again from the very beginning now I've watched it? Because I tend to watch a couple of episodes in bed, and because it's like being with a friend, a warm duvet to sort of give me a hug, and it lulls me off to sleep. Maybe I'm going to have to listen to your music instead of Sheldon and the gang. But there is an episode where Sheldon gets an earworm, and it's a Beach Boys song, and it just goes round and round and round in his head, and he can't get the song name or anything. And I think sometimes with It's a Small World, it's that earworm that you just, once it's in, it's like the Muppets theme, you can't get it out of your head. But I think the way you've played around with it and put it together in It's a Small World, it's been done in such a beautiful way that it just flows into the next track that you've got on the album. So kudos and well done.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad. Yeah, I want people, hopefully they'll listen to it and they'll be like, oh, this is so relaxing. Oh, this is really nice. That's what I hope. I hope it doesn't bring, feelings of angst and hatred. So I hope that doesn't happen. But I think it fits into the album very well. I'm very pleased with it. So I really like it.
I must admit, Jane's son, Ethan, made Jane go on this attraction when he was very, very young, over and over and over and over. So the other day I sent the track across to her and said, play this a few times for Ethan, will you? As you say, it's just that track that you can put on, and I close my eyes, I'm sat on the boat, I'm just going into the tunnels in California, the train's above. It's just a magical time, and even if I imagine it's Christmas as well, which makes It's a Small World even more amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. So glad.
So I've talked about one of my favourite tracks. Would you like to talk about one of yours?
There are several that I think are my favorites. Of course, It's a Small World. That was one of the great ones. I also really loved, now it's a toss-up because I loved Baby Mine, because I've always loved that song. That's one of my favorite Disney songs from the old era. I just think the melody is gorgeous, and the words are beautiful. It's a beautiful song about a mom, singing to their child, essentially, and telling them, you are special, you are unique, you are loved. Don't listen to what other people say. You are so precious, and what would people give to hold you if they knew who you are? It's a beautiful, beautiful song. So I wanted to put that on here as well. And I sent you the track so you could hear it. So this one has piano and then a cello on it as well to help I just wanted to bring a little bit more lushness to it, a little bit more filling than just solo piano. So that's what I put on this one. But I really love how it turned out. It's one of my favorite songs on the album, Baby Mine. It's really, really neat.
It's about a mother's advice to a child saying, look, ignore what other people are saying. Things like, let those eyes sparkle and shine, never a tear, baby mine, don't you mind what they say. Then you've got this beautiful music, and with you adding that extra dimension with the cello in it as well, it just so softens it. And I must admit, first time I listened, I did cry. Hands up, I cried.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm not glad they cried, but thank you. That's really touching. That means it touched you, and that makes me happy.
It absolutely did. My first grandchild is due sort of end of April, beginning of May time. It's a very special time, but it's a difficult time because it's not been an easy pregnancy during COVID. And, to sort of think of my daughter and the difficulties that she's had during her pregnancy and what's ahead for her and everything like that, to sort of think of this song.
Beautiful.
Really did. It was a beautiful, beautiful composition.
Thank you.
So, shall we share a little?
Sure, that sounds great.
Okay, guys, get the tissues out. Mop up those tears, put them away. But the focus is being able to just sit, maybe in the bathtub, bubbles splurging everywhere, a couple of candles lit, the music playing. And this is your time to sort of like get rid of the stresses of the day, whatever they've been, because we know there's so many people who have had their work-life challenges, whether it's through furlough, losing employment, or extra stresses. Maybe they've been key workers and they've been put at risk from the horrible virus, or even the fact that they've lost loved ones or not been able to see family, etc. I just think that half an hour a day where you can just sort of have that decompression and listen to music like this, and if you're a Disney fan, this is just so perfect.
Thank you. That's the whole reason to do it. I just wanted to do an album that had Disney music so that people that loved the music could put this kind of relaxation on it and enjoy it. That's the whole reason for the album. If you notice, if you listen to it, there's not a lot of the movement in the piano is very there's not a lot of movement, right? Not like how I normally play. It's a lot less movement on the piano. It's with a felt piano sound, which means sometimes when you play a piano, you can put a piece of felt in between the hammer and the string. So the piano itself will become much softer, and you'll hear the clicking, like you hear the sound of the hammer hitting the felt. So the whole album is in that genre. So there's not a lot of piano movement. It's really soft, meditative sounds, and that's what I went for. It's totally an album. Like for me, when I relax, this is why I made it. I like to lay on the couch, put on my best headphones, and then just close my eyes and let the music take me. And that's what I had in mind when I was writing this or doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just closing your eyes. Like you said, people can be in a bathtub, or if you want to fall asleep to it, or if you want to study to it, or meditate to it. That's exactly what it's for.
There's some amazing songs on here. Feed the Birds, very powerful song again.
Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous song. And on that one, I have piano. And then there's a little tiny, I don't know if you heard it, there's a little tiny like pad sound underneath the piano in certain parts of that song. So it makes it like a little bit magical. I thought it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the moment, one of my absolute favourite Disney songs across the board is I See the Light. I am just in love with Tangled. And I am so pleased this made the list, because I think it was me sort of like triple voting saying, please choose me, please choose this song. I absolutely love it.
It's a great song. It's a beautiful song, beautiful ballad. Again, it's got great words, like amazing lyrics. I love Tangled. Like, I thought the movie was brilliant. It's just a great movie, but you're right. The song is beautiful. And I thought it sounded really good with piano, but I wanted to add a little bit more to that. So that's why I did the flute. So that this song has piano and flute on it. And I think it sounds really good together like that. It's just a gorgeous melody. So I'm glad it made the list as well. Like, I'm glad it was suggested to me, because originally, like, I wouldn't have thought of that, I don't think, on my own. So I'm glad that was in your suggestions.
Just share a few moments of that now. So I'm just going to sort of whiz through the list, because it's not just got, 5 or 6 songs, and it's got quite a lot on here. So we start off with The Circle of Life, and anyone who loves Lion King, I'm talking to Angie Mills right now, because she's listening to me and saying, hallelujah, Michelle, because Lion King is my life. Beautiful song.
Awesome. Lion King was fun. That was the first song I did for the album, the very first one. And what I did with that is the original song, of course, has the main theme, and there's that instrumental, in the middle. It's got a nice little pan flute or whatever. But I wanted to do something a little different just to make it my own. So I did an instrumental in the middle, but I used just one flute, but just created my own melody there to make it just original and more of my own. But that was the first song I did for the album, and I really like how that turned out, and that's what inspired me to keep going.
Perfect start and brilliant opener to the whole album. Then we've got I'll Make a Man Out of You.
Yeah, another great song from Mulan. It's just a great song.
Headline song from Mulan, I'm sorry. It's my favourite one. I know a lot of people like Reflections, but I think this one is a really powerful one, and I love the way you've interpreted it.
Thank you. Yeah, who would have thought it could be reflective and meditative?
I know. Well, it just shows what a magician you are.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
So we've got Baby Mine and It's a Small World, which we've talked a little bit about. Then another song, You Can Fly, You Can Fly, You Can Fly, from Peter Pan, which I wouldn't have put down as meditative, but the way you've put it together, well, tell us a little bit about it.
I really like this one, too, because this, again, is one of my favorite melodies from when I was a kid. Like, I've always loved this song. As a child, it was fun to imagine being able to fly, and it was just a great piece from Peter Pan. And I thought this would be really good. Just slow it down. It's got a beautiful melody that you can, like a really classic melody from the 50s. And I just put my own spin on it. Like, I put my own original introduction into it and a little bit of an instrumental into it, and just use a certain kind of song hooks now and then in that song to make it sound more contemporary. And that's all I did to make it sound more reflective.
Perfect. Absolutely love it. Under the Sea?
Yeah, I had to have something. I mean, I love Little Mermaid. So, and actually 2 songs from Little Mermaid are on the album, but I love Under the Sea. So it's a fun song. And I thought, I had recorded it once years ago for a lullaby album. And I thought, let's put it on this album, because it's a nice song when it's slowed down. It's really melodic and reflective. So I did that song. I put a little bit of a keyboard pad underneath it here and there, and I thought it turned out really well.
It did. Absolutely beautiful. Energy, You Make the World Go Round?
Yes, this is one of my favorite songs from early Epcot days. Great song, loved the melody, and I thought, this was one of your suggestions from one of your listeners, and I thought, oh, that's really good. And I slowed it down and played around with it and thought it fit really well. And so to add a little bit of depth to this one, I put an oboe sound on it that plays the melody off the piano here and there. And I really like how it turned out. It's really cool. I'm very pleased with it.
So you should be.
Thank you.
Let's move on. We've got Part of Your World next.
Yes. Now, Part of Your World, this was one of my favorites because I love the Little Mermaid, of course. And I wanted to do Part of Your World, but I didn't want to do it traditionally how it's played. For music terms, and people that play music will know this, the song is written in 4/4 timing, which means there's 4 beats to every measure. To change up the feel of the song, I put it into 3/4 timing, which is like 3 beats a measure, which sounds more like a waltz. All waltzes are written in like this 3/4 time. So I put it into that time signature and thought it sounded really pretty and almost like a music box. So that's kind of what I went for with this track. It's just piano only. And I did it to sound like you're playing a music box, but it just happens to be Ariel's theme.
Wonderful. We've already mentioned Feed the Birds, Candle on the Water. Next one is I'd Like to Be You for a Day. Why, I would like to be you for a day, Tom, because I could teach music to my pupils a lot better.
Oh, that would be cool, huh? Now, everyone that knows me, and I've been on interviews for years, I love Freaky Friday. It's one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. This is the original one from 1976 or 77 with Jodie Foster. One of my all-time favorite movies as a kid. And I've always loved the theme song, and I've recorded it before in other albums in the past, but it's regular medium to slow tempo. But I thought, could I put this on here? What would it sound like? So I slowed it down a lot, and then I put a clarinet on it, which I thought worked really well. So it's a slow version of the song. It's got beautiful clarinets here and there, and I think it turned out really well. I think it fits perfectly into the feel of this.
It does, absolutely. And unknown fact, I used to play the clarinet.
No, I did not know that. Very nice.
Kind of hide it to myself because I play it badly.
And a star was born right there.
Oh, I so wish. I could probably play it now to scare the birds, let alone feed the birds.
Not to feed them. But to scare. They're hard instruments to play. I've tried the clarinet before. It's the wood one with the what is it called? That piece of wood that's put in.
The reed. Yeah.
Yeah, the reed. I could not do it. I just could not do it to save my life. It's a beautiful instrument, though. Beautiful. You should keep playing it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'll stick to the recorder. I managed the recorder and treble recorder and bass recorder quite well. And I did have a little play with the piano, but again, scare the birds.
Okay. All right, I'll take your word for it.
So moving on, we've got New Horizons from Epcot.
Yes, of course, another classic song from Epcot. And people that love Epcot, especially the old Epcot, this is one of their favorite pieces. It's a great song. It talks about, the words are really neat, talking about the future and seeing things together. And, if we can dream it, we can do it. Just a great message. But it's always had a really cool melody as well. So this one I did with just solo piano. I didn't want to put anything else on it. And just did a really slow meditative version of it. And I really like how it turned out. I think it's really pretty.
It is. It's a beautiful song. It's just that reminder of Epcot of old.
That's what I think is so cool about it. I thought, how cool is this if you're listening, let's say you're laying on the couch, with your eyes closed, if you're in a bubble bath, and this song comes up, I hope it just brings back memories if you've been to the park. Especially in the early 80s, I just hope it fosters those memories in people, because it does with me. Like, that's when I was playing it and I was recording it. It was just bringing back all these memories of my family going there in the early 80s and the magic that Epcot was back then, because it was brand new and it was just a really cool place. So that's why I put that on there. I hope it brings back some good memories for people.
I'm sure it will do. So many people wanted that song put on. We've already mentioned I See the Lights, but when you're thinking how to end an album and you think, how am I going to leave the audience wanting more, but knowing they've had the best possible Disney meditation experience possible, you hit it out of the park with the last song, the Mickey Mouse Club March. Please, how did you... Just amazing. I love it.
Thank you. I thought, because I started with Circle of Life, which I think is a great opening, I thought, how could I end this album? And I thought, well, the Mickey Mouse Club, right? Because it's just kind of fun to think about that show back then. And this is how a lot of people end. Well, I think they play it. Do they play it at the parks? Didn't they used to or something when the parks closed? Was that one of the? I can't remember.
I'm normally too busy crying because I don't want to leave the parks.
Right. I can't remember, but it's just a great way to close, I think, a Disney album. And I thought, well, can it be played really slow? Is it going to sound stupid or what? But I thought it was really pretty when I slowed it down. I changed some of the chord progressions so it'll sound a little bit different. And I just did one pass at like, it only plays, it's only like a minute long or a minute and a half. So it's just one time through the song. And again, it's another song that I think people love. I'm sure some people don't like it, but I thought it was a great way to close the whole album. Just a really nice little like period at the end of the sentence, I guess. And I really like how it turned out. I think it's really pretty.
It is. Were there any songs that you thought, oh, can I just squeeze this one in? And any sort of contenders for the second meditative album already mulling around in your mind?
Oh, I know, right? Because there's so much music. But one of the suggestions actually from your listeners, which I started to record and tried to do, was You'll Be in My Heart from Tarzan, which I love that song. But for some reason, I couldn't get it to quite work this time around. Like I was struggling with it. And I thought, well, let's come back to it. I spent a couple of days on it. And I thought, man, it's not working right now. I'll put it on the list for future stuff. That was one that I really wanted to put on, but it just, for some reason, this time I couldn't get it. And that happens, when you're writing music or arranging it. Some songs just don't click in the moment for whatever reason. And so that was one I really wanted to put on, but it just didn't make it this time around.
Maybe for next time?
Yeah, who knows? If this goes well or if it's popular and people like it, I would totally do a second album. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think so. And we've got lots of other ideas for you as well that I'd like to pitch. An album dedicated to the Disney villains songs.
Oh, now that would be cool. That's a good idea. It's a great idea. Now, can you see that as a regular album or as like a meditative album, or what are you envisioning?
Ooh. Well, I've just got Wearing Rambed in my head, Cruella de Vil. I don't think I could meditate to that. You may be a musical masterpiece magician, but I think turning around some of these dark, villainous songs into meditation would be a bit of a push.
It could just be maybe turn them just into ballads, just make it real powerful or something like that. That's a good idea, though. I like that, Michelle. I do.
It's fine. You see,
awesome.
This is why we love each other's company.
I know, exactly. We complement each other quite well, I would say.
So I'm just thinking about all your musical children. You've got the Star Wars Journey to the Stars, your interpretation of the music of Star Wars, which my husband adores because massive Star Wars fan. You've got Magical Moments 1 and 2. You've got Dreams Come True. Then another this one must be favourite of mine. This is Piano and Pixie Dust with the solo piano arrangements, which again, love.
Thank you.
Old Time Magic.
That was the one that came out last year, right? And I really like that one too because it's all the old songs. It's like a collection of songs, old Disney from I think like the 20s through the 50s or the 60s, like that, or maybe through the 70s. It's like that era, which I think is really good.
And your newest baby, Magical Meditation. Well, which is your favourite?
I have to say, right now, I'm really into Magical Meditations because everything that's going on, it's like, even though like 2020 is done, right? So we're done with that, but we're not out of the woods yet. And there's still a ways to go. And it's just, I think people get to the end of their rope and we're all really tired and burned out from everything that's going on. But I just think this kind of music helps, it can help you relax and unwind and just escape for an hour, just to get away or just to relax you. And we all need that. And I listen to music all the time, and I've been gravitating a lot towards that kind of music lately.
Perfect. What is the best way if someone wants to buy this album then?
It's going to be it's available everywhere, so they can buy it on iTunes, they can buy it on Amazon Prime or Amazon whatever it's called, and they can also stream it if they want to stream it for free. It's going to be it's on Spotify, it's on Amazon Music, it's everywhere. So you'll be able to find, you just have to search my name or the album title, Magical Meditations, and it should come up.
Perfect. So there's nothing there to stop you guys listening to it right now and enjoying it. It's available from the 23rd of April, so you should be able to catch it straight away.
Yes, and there's links in my profile if you go to my website or like my Instagram page or whatever. I'll have all the links there so people just click and listen to it.
Tom, it has been an absolute delight talking through this album with you. I am so excited and I can't wait for about 6 to 9 months' time when we're back here again talking about Villainous, the songs of Disney villains. I've even got you the title now.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, we'll definitely have to look into that. I love that idea. And then hopefully at some point we'll be able to meet up again at Disneyland. That would be ideal.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
We'll keep everything crossed. So guys, thank you so much for listening. You know how to get hold of Tom's music now as well. You can catch us on Instagram and Twitter at DisDreamGirls. You can find out more about the show on our website, DisneyDreamGirls.com. And if you want additional content, you can go to patreon.com/DisneyDreamGirls, where you can hear a lot more from Mr. Ameen and his wonderful music. But until next time, it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me. Thank you, everyone.